Hi, it's your friendly OT here, Lawrence, and today we're going to talk about developmental milestones. I know for a lot of parents this can be a really nerve-wracking issue to talk about because we want our kids to be right on the money when it comes to reaching certain milestones. And there's a lot of different milestone trackers out there and different resources that you could look for, and it could get really confusing, and just different ages and different signs that you need to look out for. And I just want us to have a resource where we could all agree and have like a standard, because it's important to have a standard so we're not getting nervous for things that we're not supposed to be nervous about. Again, milestones are supposed to be things that we celebrate with our kids instead of things that are nerve-wracking. It's supposed to be a fun experience. And I'm here to dispel any of that anxiety brought about by this. And no matter where your child is developmentally, it's our job as parents, as educators, as therapists to be able to help support them wherever they are developmentally or whatever conditions they have. It's important for us to support them where they are. And the purpose of this video is for us to be able to learn the signs and act early, because there's a lot of research and studies that show that if intervention is done at an earlier age, there's a lot of benefits for children, for their independence and also for their development. So it's important for us to learn the signs so that we can act early and we can help our kids develop and grow and live a full and meaningful life. So it's important for us to know that. And I want to remind everyone here that the main occupation of kids, especially young toddlers and babies, is play. And it's important for us to observe this in their natural environment and their milestones when they're having fun, when they're playing in a safe environment. So let's go ahead and look at the CDC website, because I think it's one of the most research and evidence-based resources out there for milestones. They actually have an app called the Milestone Tracker, and if you download that, that would just be helpful for data. So if you are concerned about your child, you can use that data and you could show it to your pediatrician and your therapist, and you could help them also be able to pinpoint how to help your child the best way possible. Again, as parents, as educators, our therapists, our job is not to diagnose. Our job is to observe and record, and it's up for our physicians and our doctors to diagnose and help us. And that's why the CDC created a tool for us to record and keep track of our kids' development, so that they also have a resource when we are concerned that they can refer to and help with their diagnosis. So the American Pediatric Association actually recommends screening for children for developmental screening between the ages of 9, 18, and 30 months. And they require developmental testing using standardized and validated tools at this age. And then there's a separate assessment for kids for autism for diagnosis, and it's not until 18 and 24 months before they could use any of these tools to properly diagnose your child with autism. Again, it's important to refer back to your child's doctor about these screenings, but the standard is 9, 18, and 30 months. If you have any concerns, it's important for us to look back at 9 months. I think that's the most standard age. So let's go ahead and explore the CDC website together. I think it's really important. And if you're listening on podcasts, you can go on YouTube and you can look at the screen, because I'm going to share my screen. So the ones watching at YouTube, they could see where we're going. So we're going to the CDC website, the Act Early Milestones website. And I'm going to post the link below or on this podcast so people listening can also refer to it. So it's the cdc.gov website, and it's the important milestone website. And I'm going to jump right into 9 months. We're going to talk about 9 months and what the signs are, because it's when you could officially use a standardized test. So let's start with that. But it's also important, again, to keep track of your kids' development. And on the website too, on the cdc.gov website, there's a PDF document, a CDC checklist document where you could use it and check if your child is meeting all these developmental milestones. And there's also another tool that you can use. It's called the Milestone Moments booklet, and I think it's a really good free resource to use in order to see if your child is developing properly or developing the milestones as recommended. So there's 2, 4, 6, 9 months, 1 year, all the way up to 5 years, and they have checklists that you can check and you can see for yourself. We're going to look at it together. So let's go ahead and check out the CDC website first. So again, it's cdc.gov / /NCBDDD /act early /milestones /milestones -9mo.html. So if you're listening, you can go to this website, or you can check out the link on the description of this podcast. So we're now on the CDC website, and here's the important milestones for your baby. So they have this developed and easy to use tool, and it talks about what babies do at this age, and they're divided into about 4 categories: social and emotional, language and communication, cognitive, learning, thinking, problem solving, and then finally movement and physical development. So they divide us into sections and what you need to look out for as a parent, as an educator, and as a therapist before you could refer your child to their doctor for developmental screening. So social and emotional, they listed out: may be afraid of strangers, may be clingy with familiar adults, or has favorite toys. So these are things that you need to look out for, and that have to be present for your child. Language and communication, understands no, makes a lot of different sounds like ma, 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 or ba, 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 repeated syllabic sounds, copy sound and gestures of others. If you smile, they smile back, or uses fingers to point at things. But it's language and communication, basic communication at 9 months. And then there's the cognitive section where they're supposed to watch the path of something as it falls. If you drop a ball, they're supposed to be able to follow it. They look for things that you see that you hide. They play peekaboo. I know my daughter, when she was about 9 months, she loves playing that game. And then they should be able to put things in their mouth. They move things smoothly from one hand to the other, pick up things like a cereals between thumbs and index finger. And again, these are recommendations. Your child could be a few months off, and that's okay. It's just the recommended developmental milestone. And then movement and physical development, they are able to stand and hold on. They can get into the sitting position. They could sit without support. They could pull to stand, or they crawl. So these are the things that you need to look out for, and they lay it out so easy. And then they even have a section where when to act early and talk to your doctor. So they have a criteria here that's really straightforward. If your child at 9 months doesn't bear weight on legs with support, you need to go talk to your doctor about that. Doesn't sit with help, doesn't babble, meaning that your child doesn't say mama, baba, or dada. Doesn't play any game involving back and forth play, doesn't respond to their own name, doesn't seem to recognize familiar people, doesn't look where you point, or don't transfer toys from one hand to the other. No bilateral coordination here. Then I think it's important based on the CDC website, to talk to your child's doctor. And you talk to your doctor, but CDC also has a hotline at 1-800-CDC-info. You could call them as well, and it's really a great tool to have. And they talk about the different developmental screening tools that are available for your child. So pretty straightforward here, and I think it's important for you to refer here first and have the a checklist. And if you need a checklist, they also have a link where you could click on the milestone tracker checklist, or you can go on the mobile app. It's free for iOS users or Android users. It's available. Just type in milestone tracker and you'll be able to download the app. If you don't want to use an app, if you want to have the actual PDF document, they also have that. You could download it, and it looks like this. Your child at 1 year, and they divide that, what we just talked about. You could and I'll post the link too, so you could just download the PDF straight from this video. So knowing your child best, so they have this checklist, and then they also have recommended things about what you can do for your child for when they're 1. So give your child time to get to know a new caregiver, bring a favorite toy, a stuffed animal, a blanket to help your child for comfort. And then in response to unwanted behaviors, you could say no firmly, do not yell, spank, or give long explanations. A timeout for 30 seconds to 1 minute might help redirect your child. So these are recommended things that you can do for a child straight from the CDC. Give a lot of hugs, kisses, and praise for good behavior. Spend a lot of time encouraging unwanted behavior than punishing unwanted behavior. And then talk to your child about what you're doing. For example, mommy's washing your hands with a washcloth. It's important to explain things to your child. So they have a lot of recommendations here. And as an occupational therapist, I think these are really good recommendations. And I'm also a big advocate for positive reinforcement. I think it's the best way to help mold your child's behavior and help them be able to develop properly. So this is a really good tool. I would highly suggest you getting this. It's on CDC and it's free and it's a really good resource. And here's the booklet for new parents. This would be a really good booklet so you could keep track of your child's milestones and their development and what you can do to help your child's or baby's development. So it's really good and it's just laid out here perfectly for you. So I would suggest that you go check this out. So yeah, as a parent, if your child does have a developmental delay or autism, is diagnosed with autism, it's okay. There's a lot of groups, there's a lot of communities that are out there to help you. There's a lot of resources. That's why I wanted to make this channel for a resource. And the earlier they detect that, the better for early intervention. As a pediatric occupational therapist that works at a clinic and at a school, it really gives me so much joy to work with these kids. And I've seen them be really independent and be able to learn all the sensory regulation tools and techniques to become happy and live a fulfilled and meaningful life. And it's really important for all professionals and parents to be on the same page to help your child. And that's why this podcast is here. So hopefully, I'm hoping to go through the developmental milestones. So we just finished 9 months. We're going to move on to 2 years and see what we can do to help our children at 2. I myself have a 2-year-old daughter, so it'd be really great to talk about her development at 2. So stay tuned for that. We're going to talk about IEP for kids in school and talk about how OTs or speech therapists or behavior analysts play a part in that and how to educate parents, because a lot of the times parents don't know what to expect in an IEP or what rights they have. So I want to create this free educational platform so you know what to expect when you're going to these meetings. Again, if this video is helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could give us a thumbs up or a like. It would be really helpful for us to spread this to a lot of people, because I think it would be a really good and important resource for us moving forward. All right. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate the time. Hopefully this was helpful for you. As we go on with our videos and our podcasts, I just want to be able to show resources, create resources, and create a community where we can support each other. So look, stay tuned for our Discord server. Also check out my website where I recommend different tools and toys for kids of different ages and of different needs. It's called www.sensorysumo.com, and it is specifically for kids with sensory needs, sensory processing disorders, and it or just kids in general, even ADHD, kids with ADHD or have movement processing needs. I think there are a lot of tools that could be helpful, and I'll talk more about tools that you can use to help them stay regulated. All right. Thank you so much for the time and the support. See ya.